All right, we are on to our second lovely lady. Her name is Brenda McChesney, and she is an international health and wellness speaker, author, and of course, entrepreneur. She's trained thousands of wellness professionals across North America, and before launching her own business, she spent 20 years co-creating and leading local, statewide, and national family support movements to ensure children and their parents have the support they need to be safe, stable, and thriving. Also in 2018, she founded Ignite Your Zen. Yay. We're going to hear more about that. A mindful living company dedicated to human flourishing. So let's bring Miss Brenda on. Hello, welcome.
Thank you so much, Julie. It's great to be here.
So excited to have you here today. So I would love to just start off with you telling us a bit about your journey.
Well, as you said, I spent 20 years in the nonprofit and philanthropic sectors. I actually started out as a doula and a lactation educator, created a local community-based organization to help in that space, help parents through the journey of becoming a human to a parent. And that quickly evolved into looking at family systems and engaging youth, and started to work at the statewide level in Colorado with the Family Resource Center Association. And that work then transpired into working on a national level to really ensure that America's families can thrive. And I was definitely at a peak area in my life. I had moved the journey over into philanthropy and was overseeing over $10 million a year in funding to support really innovative programs when I was at a restaurant and a pole fell and hit my head and slammed it into a table, and it turned my world upside down.
My goodness. Okay. So obviously it literally changed your brain. Is that how you got into CBD?
Yes. So what I realized is that traumatic experience, I ended up giving me a traumatic brain injury, a severe TMJ injury, severe whiplash, concussion, bulging torn discs, diagnosis of a permanent impairment in life, partially in my neck. And what I found was that as each day progressed and my symptoms got worse, my life slowly started to unravel, and I wasn't able to sleep. My cognitive functioning was significantly impaired. My ability to perform as the woman that I was in the world, the mother that I really valued myself being, the partner and the professional, over the course of 3 years, as I was trying to find a solution, all of those identities were slowly unraveling in my life. And, I saw over 50 different wellness practitioners at that time period. And I tried everything. I naturally gravitate toward homeopathic solutions. So I started with, meditation and chiropractic care and physical care and acupuncture and acupressure, included Reiki and massage, and all the way up to interventions, 3 neck procedures, ended up on opioids. And I hit this point 3 years in that I felt like I had nothing left to give. And I was waking up 25 times a night. So my sleep, I wasn't even allowed to have my body repaired during those critical sleep cycles. And I was really hanging on by a thread the day that I discovered high milligram CBD. And I'll tell you what, I definitely didn't think it was going to do a whole lot, considering I had tried what felt like everything under the sun. Mm-hmm. And my neighbor had just opened up a manufacturing facility, and I knocked on his door and I had tears in my eyes. I need something. Do you happen to have anything? And he handed me a bottle of tincture and he said, take 4 droppers full and tell me how you feel in the morning. And that night I went to bed with a glimpse of optimism, but I had been let down so many times that I was like, I'm sure that this is not actually going to transform my life. And the next morning I woke up 8.5 hours later, and not a wrinkle in my bed was there. It's as though nobody had slept there. I slept so deep and so profound that I woke up the next morning, and it was the first time in 3 years that I woke with tears of hope and joy that maybe I'd have a modicum of my life given back to me. And that's when my CBD journey began.
I love that. I love that you took something that was obviously painful on so many levels and turn it into a passion, and not only to help yourself, but to help other people. Is that why you launched your own business?
Yes. I spent every day that week taking the CBD products, and within 7 days, Sarah will appreciate that I felt this orb growing within me. My solar plexus was just so big. It felt like it expanded beyond the house, and I knew something was revolutionizing my life. And I realized that when parents are robbed of the ability to be able to be the parent they want to be in the world, either by pain and inflammation, by stress and anxiety, by cognitive functioning, by sleeplessness, and all the ripple effect that comes with that. We're robbed of our ability to like uphold what it is that we want to do for our children, for our families, and then in our own personal lives. And so I knew in that moment it was time to like shift things up. And I said, okay, 20-year career, I've loved you, but now it's time to like shift my attention a little bit. And so I decided that I was going to be on a mission to bring hemp health and wellness, to make it accessible and affordable to the masses, and be the voice that can help average women like myself and families understand that it's not something to be afraid of. It's something that's very organic and natural, and give them an avenue to be able to do that. So I started Ignite Your Zen, and that from there, that was the idea of really bringing back inner peace and balance. And that then led to launching my very first CBD product line, Healing Power of Hemp. And quickly, I was asked by a local Aveda spa and salon to have my product line there. And then they became my flagship store. And the partnership was so incredible that we actually went into business together and launched the nation's first Aveda CBD spa salon and wellness studio. And in my journey toward healing, I also like decided that, mindfulness was an incredible part of what I needed to do to thrive and flourish again. And so I became a Way of the Happy Woman coach, a certified yoga and meditation instructor. So I infused that into this wellness studio and launched hemp infused yoga and meditation. And from there, when COVID hit, we kind of pivoted a little bit and said, okay, how do we bring this passion and education online? So we started doing CBD and me events. So events around how to integrate hemp health and wellness into your life, whether it be through a mindfulness practice or the food that you drink or putting it on topically, all the ways that hemp health and wellness can support your journey. And then the story then continues of that, then led to this incredible partnership where I was able to create my favorite CBD brand that I've partnered with, Mediterranean Botanicals, where we were infusing really unique combinations of cannabinoids in order to elevate outcomes. And then, where my heart is at is in education. And so I started putting together educational resources to bring to the masses. And here we are today.
I love that so much. So I actually have a question that I think a lot of people watching would love to know. So I don't know if you know this, but I have a background working in addiction recovery. And so there's this whole misunderstanding about CBD versus, people with addiction. So I'm going to ask for those people that don't know out there or are afraid to try CBD, is it safe for people with addictions?
So the answer is yes. And actually, there's been scientific research that shows that those who struggle from addictions, when they incorporate high milligram CBD into their regimen, it allows them to not only move through the process of detoxification easier, but it actually keeps them from relapsing longer. And the reason is, it's really, to me, it all comes down to the endocannabinoid system. And I tell you what, I saw over 50 different medical practitioners in my 3 years journey to come back to standing on my feet again. And I asked almost every single one of them, what about CBD? Is this something I should be exploring? And not only could nobody answer that question or give me any advice, but not one doctor mentioned the endocannabinoid system. So I'm going to take just a quick second. So if you're out there today and you're listening and you're curious about CBD, this is the most fundamental piece of information that you need to know, and that your aunt and your grandma and your sister and your sibling and your neighbor needs to know. Our bodies have an endocannabinoid system. And this system in our body is responsible for regulating almost every major function and system that we have. It acts as the internal traffic cop. And our body produces on its own endocannabinoids. So we develop them and we create them. And when all things are happening in homeostasis, we're making enough for our body to thrive. But what happens is that when we have stress, anxiety, we might be overweight, we aren't eating healthy, we get stuck in traffic, we have imbalance in our lives, disease, illness, you name it, it requires then more external sources because our body stops producing what it needs on its own. So we don't make enough of our own endocannabinoids to have our endocannabinoid system thrive. And our body actually is filled with CB receptors, CB1 and CB2 receptors. So we're actually made to process what the hemp plant makes naturally on its own. It's this beautiful pairing of the two. And that's why when I took it the first night, my body was able to downshift and regulate. I was able to drop into a more calm state and a deeper sleep. And as my body started to restore its own endocannabinoid levels by taking hemp, I was able to then start to get to balance again. So a long answer to your question, but absolutely yes. And it's because of this beautiful endocannabinoid system that we have that, sad to say, like, is taught in less than 10% of all medical schools. And those who do teach it, they spend less than 30 minutes on it.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm really glad that you shared that because, even my dad, who doesn't have any addiction issues whatsoever, was afraid to tell me that he was taking CBD like gummies or using them or something. I'm like, Dad, let's get you some good stuff. All right, let's not just buy stuff off the internet. So you don't know what you're getting. So I'm just curious, what are some tips and tricks that you have in general for using CBD?
Yes. Well, I think that it's really important to start with knowing the differences on a few things. And we don't have time to go into them today, but I actually am giving away a free CBD. It's my top tips for the budding hemp enthusiast. So it's a downloadable free ebook to everyone watching this. And it helps you if you're newbie to this space. It's going to give you the core fundamentals that you need for having knowledge and confidence to move forward. And if you're a professional in the medical, health, wellness, or beauty industries, even if you don't plan to take CBD or become a hemp enthusiast like I am, I also recommend that you read it because we want you to be knowledgeable when people come to you and ask. So you want to know, what is the difference between hemp and marijuana? How to know what products to look for and what's legal to buy. You also want to know what spectrum the product is. Is it a broad spectrum and a full spectrum, or is it an isolate base that has 100% of the THC removed? It also walks through why having micro amounts of the THC is important to help all the other cannabinoids really activate within your system. Additionally, it covers what to look for in quality products, right? Like, when I started this journey and I discovered what CBD could do for me, I started to look out what was the landscape of CBD products. And this was back in 2018. And while there's been higher regulations and improvements in this space, what I can tell you is that it's still the Wild West. And that means you need to be very careful about your manufacturer, their processing, the ingredients, all natural and organic ingredients, and making sure that you know the milligrams of CBD in your product and in your dose. Because I can tell you, like, I've coached hundreds of people in hemp health and wellness since launching these companies. And almost unanimously, if somebody's tried CBD before, I'll say, oh, great. What did you try? What product is it? How did it work? And they don't know, right? They don't know what they tried. They don't know how many milligrams of the product it were. And that's like saying, I tried ibuprofen, but it didn't work for me. And then you ask how much they tried. They're like, a milligram once. But it doesn't work that way. So, you need to know how much to take for your unique needs. And that's why I developed the Daily CBD Tracker. And that's the book that's launching in December, because it helps people. It's your go-to companion for hemp health to understand, what are your unique health and wellness needs? Like, what are your goals? Getting really, really clear, because once you start to incorporate CBD into your life, 9 times out of 10, you'll try it for one reason, like sleep, and you'll start to notice this beautiful cascading effect that it has for you and, frankly, the people around you. The funny story, I'll say, I had a woman call and tell me, she's like, so Brenda, I started using CBD for sleep, but I have to tell you what's happened. She's like, my husband and I haven't gotten along this well in 10 years. She's like, I'm less reactive. I'm less triggered. Our fights are less explosive. Like, it's allowed her to calm her central nervous system to a place that she can sit and listen and absorb rather than be in the reactive mode.
I love that. So I guess my question would be, because you talked about, you might try it for this particular reason, like for sleep, for example, but what are some other reasons that people would want to try CBD? Because I don't know, and I would love to know what my possibilities are.
Yes. So there's the top 3 reasons that people gravitate toward in exploring cannabis-based health and wellness are sleeplessness, stress and anxiety, and pain and inflammation. Those are the top three areas that are the highest pull toward the product. But it also helps with mental clarity, right? It can really help you focus and concentrate. I've had clients who have been able to get off of medication for ADHD once they discovered the right strain and the right profile for them of CBD. Also mood, just overall mood. You can use it topically for beauty. So one of the things that I love are CBD baths. So bath bombs, CBD bath fizzes. I'm actually involved in a company that's launching next month called Hemp Naked, and it brings a new level of luxury to your bath and beauty routine. And so you can use it topically on your face. It helps with acne, rosacea, scarring, amazing for bug bites. And you could also use it in your hair for hot oil treatments. When I had the Aveda Spa and Salon, we incorporated it into facials, mani-pedis, scalp treatments, massages, you named it. There's an application for it on the inside and the outside. And then really, you know, a lot of people are experiencing arthritis and joint pain, especially as we age. And it's incredibly helpful for releasing the built up muscles and tension and pain in the hands. My last product line, I had a really high milligram salve, and I had this incredibly touching story from this woman who her adult mother, who was 72 years old, hadn't had the use of her hands in years because her arthritis was so terrible. It was bunched up and tight. And she said within 2 days of using it, it was the most mobility that her mother had had in her hands. And she said her pain went from a 10 to a 3. And it was able to stay at that 3 range with increased mobility because it's so powerful in that way. So, you know, of course, I'm not a medical practitioner. I always encourage people to speak with their doctor if they have questions around how to integrate it into their life or if they're going to substitute other medications from it. But the daily CBD tracker that's hot off the press in December, this will be shipped out, and it really gives you all the tools you need to understand how it's affecting your life from the inside out and the outside in.
I love that. I love the idea of using something natural as opposed to, you know, taking another pill from the pharmaceutical industry. And I used to work in pharmacy too. So I've lived many lives in this body. But anyway, I guess what I'm kind of curious about is if somebody does want to try this, you know, you mentioned that you have to find the right dose and it seems like there's a lot of different steps. But you found relief the first time you tried it. So what is a normal, because I know everybody's different and everybody's journey is different, but what would be something that you could expect on average to happen, say from the first time to figuring out what's right for you?
Yes. So we always say start small and grow slow. So what you want to do is figure out why you're using this product. If you're experiencing chronic pain and inflammation, you may want to integrate CBD, a small dose of it in the morning, and then another dose of it in the evening. And you want to start with small milligrams. It could take 3 to 5 days before your body understands if it's the right dose or not. But the caveat being that it could take 30 days for it to take full effect. So that's the other thing. Like, don't start it, try it, and then give up. It's like saying, well, I took one supplement of vitamin D and it didn't help with my deficiency, so I'm not going to try it anymore. Like, it doesn't work that way. Right? It's a natural supplementation to your daily regimen. So consistency, starting small, and then noting the effects of it. And that's why I created the daily CBD and Me tracker, because it's so important to tune in to notice how is your body? How is it this morning? How is it feeling? And what does it need to flourish? How's your mind? How is it? What is it telling you? Do you have a monkey racing mind happening all the time? Like, do you have a problem just finding stillness and calming down? And then how are your emotions? Are you walking around really at a high vibration, very triggered state? Noticing that as you start to incorporate CBD into your daily life will allow you to then see the ways that it's benefiting you in areas, like I say, that you wouldn't anticipate or expect. And so it's important to track. We have a kind of a medical-based tracker that you identify where in your body you're experiencing discomfort across a variety of pain and stress and anxiety, sleeplessness, mental clarity, mood, and then anything else that you want to track. And then noting how much you're taking, when you're taking it, and what your consumption type is, and then tuning into the effects of it. And if it's not enough after that 3 to 5 days, then you slowly increase from there, little bits at a time. And if it's still not enough, you have questions, check out our resources. You can call us. We're here. I like to say, given that I started as a doula, like we're hemp doulas, right? This is the role that I like to play. That I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I'm here to empower you with all the tools and the resources you need to successfully achieve inner peace and balance in your life. And finding new ways. Like I tend to be this catalyst for folks who say, I would never try marijuana. I've never tried hemp. But it actually, like my favorite tip, Julianne, is that the first time that we receive CBD from a source other than our own is through a mother's breast milk. Her cannabinoids transfer through breast milk to the baby. And being a lactation educator and enthusiast in that space, I found that fact fascinating. And typically when we start there at the space of biology that our body creates this, and sometimes it needs a little boost. And when you take CBD from a source like hemp, it not only fills the reserves that are empty, but spurs your own body's natural creation of endocannabinoids. So you can tell I'm pretty excited about it. And I know you all are too.
And I actually want to hear more, but unfortunately we have to keep moving. So I just want to say we popped your website down at the bottom so anybody can reach out to you that way, correct?
That's exactly right. Yeah. So there you can get your free downloadable ebook. It's our top tips for the budding hemp enthusiast. Again, whether you plan to do CBD or not in your life, it's an important read to just have base level information. It's just a little glimpse into what you need to know. You can also find the daily CBD tracker there. And we are my sister company, Mediterranean Botanicals. We're giving away a special 20% off to all of your listeners, and the coupon code CBDME. And we come in as the highest quality, lowest price products on the market. So our mission is to make hemp health and wellness affordable for all.
I love that. Well, Brenda, I just want to say thank you so much for being on today and sharing your passion and your knowledge with us. I really appreciate you being here.
Excellent. I appreciate coming here. Next time we'll talk about red light therapy and all the other hacks for igniting wellness. But until now, have a great rest of your show.
Thank you so much. Oh man, I could keep going forever, but unfortunately, fortunately we get to have somebody next. But before we do that,